Good morning, everyone. Hope you are well. Today's learning is dedicated in memory of Leah Bas Faivel, Rav Yaakov Zubin David Aryeh, Sipora Feigel Bas Reuven Baruch, Paul Casimir, Shalom ben Eli ben Bas Faivel, from Shoshana Bas Yaakov Shmuel, Caleb Bas Henoch, Yom Yochib ben Moshe Eliezer, Shah Malka Bas Binyamin, Shlomo Yechid ben Yeshua Levi, Avram Mordechai ben Moshe Katna, Aryeh ben Shimon, as well as the Yortzeit for today, as follows. Itorena Bas Lubel, Chaim Menashe Kenley, Bruno Bas Reuven Clements, Malcolm Bedina Bas Tivia Davidson, Kaddish Bet Yehuda, Abraham David, Dov Ben Menachem Mendel Levi Westbrook, Rachel Bas Hanan David Sher, Pinchas Ben Abraham Blackstein, Malka Bas Pesach HaKohen Palmer, Malka Bas Pesach HaKohen Palmer, Rizo Lev Bas Yisrael Pelham, Eliezer Ben Yitzchak Pak. Wish all of them and their families long life. So we continue the next of our Mishnayos, which is as follows. The Mishnah says, Reb Shimon says, 3 crowns exist. Right? Remember the crown? So there is the crown in Judaism of Torah. There is the crown of kahuna, of priesthood, and there is the crown of kingship. Right? Now the Mishnah says a statement that you probably heard thousands of times by different rabbis, and that is as follows. He says that Keter, or the crown, Keter Shem Tov, that the crown of a good name surmounts them all, surpasses them all. And the obvious question is, what does that mean? So let me explain to you. The crown of a Torah means the ability for a person to succeed, to excel in the learning of Torah. Some people can, some people can't. Can depend on your ability, can depend on your upbringing, depends on your education, depends on a whole host of things, okay? The second crown is the crown which we said for priesthood. Now, either you are a priest or you're not. Right? My father wasn't a Cohen. My grandfather wasn't a Cohen. Despite the best of intentions, I am never going to be a Cohen. Okay? So that crown is the second crown. The crown of Malchus, the crown of kingship, is the third one. Either you're from the tribe of Judah. I don't know if anyone watching is from Judah. Good morning, Rachel, David, Harry, Mervyn, and Harry again. The question is, are any of us from royalty or not? We don't know. Okay, but for most people, it's a big no-no. We're not part of royalty, okay? But the Shem Tov, the crown of a good name, is something that each and every one of you can acquire. Did you ever think about that? The other ones, right, you inherit them either by design or by default, by the fact that you were brought up in a certain home, educated in a certain way. You acquired a lot of wisdom, a lot of Torah knowledge, right? The crown of kingship, the crown of priesthood, it's just by your upbringing, right? It's by the fact that you were born to a Jewish mother, right? So the crown of a good name is a crown that in fact you cannot even, if you want to, you cannot give yourself. It is a crown that others will determine for you. If other people say and determine, judging you based on your behavior, your personal conduct, that you're worthy, you've got a good name, you've got a good reputation. He's always honest, he's always got integrity, he's always got midot tovot, good character traits. They always behave appropriately. Then you get a good name. That's not something that you can determine, it's what others determine, and it's open to everyone. Each and every one of us over the course of our lifetimes. We create a reputation, a Shem Tov, a good name, hopefully. And that is up to us. That's the Mishnah, okay? Rabbi Noharai Omer. Rabbi Noharai says as follows. Next Mishnah. Torah. You should exile yourself to a place of Torah. But Automa, and you shouldn't say, Shitava Acharecha. Then it will come after you. Right? But your colleagues will cause it to remain with you. And do not rely on your own understanding. That's a statement from Proverbs. What's this Mishnah saying? Anyone have any idea? So this Mishnah is telling us that the environment, right, the community that we live in is exceptionally important, and it determines and influences the way we behave, the way we conduct ourselves, and our priorities in life. If you live in a very affluent community, a very materialistic community, then in all likelihood, your friends are going to be affluent and they're going to be pursuing wealth. The topic of conversation, the priorities, right, the principles, it's all going to be based around acquisition of wealth. If a person lives in a place where, for example, you're living in a place where people are focused on growing, developing, caring for one another, the likelihood is that's the way that you and your family are going to become, right? We are, I would say, victims of circumstance in a good way. In other words, the environment that we find ourselves, the neighborhood, the community, very much determine priorities. Now, of course, if you're an exceptionally strong person, then you can be insular and you can ensure that you're not impacted by what's going on around you. But most people find themselves influenced and inspired, hopefully, by what they find around them. And therefore, that's what this Mishnah is telling us. Make sure that you put yourself in a really Jewish environment, right? In a strong community. Going and living in the sticks is not going to do anything for it. Okay, you're not going to have people that are going to be on a higher level than you, that are going to pull you up, right? You're going to feel that you're the chief rabbi of wherever you've gone, Madagascar, and therefore you don't need anybody to tell you anything. So being in an environment, the correct environment, you feel Yontiv, you feel Shabbos, you get able to get kosher food, people are speaking about the right topics, everyone's interested in growing. That is the type of place a person should put themselves in. And of course, Woodside Park is the best possible place. And that's what this mission is referring to. Okay, the next point. Says the Mishnah that, and do not assume that they will come after you, for it is your colleagues who will cause it to remain with you. What exactly does that statement mean? Says the commentary here that that a person is meant to live in a Torah environment because it is only in association with fellow students that the Torah can be properly studied. So I think it's along the same lines as we were just saying. Okay, so we've got 1 more minute. Let's see if we can squeeze in 3 Mishnayos, 3 from Ethics of the Fathers in one day, a hat trick. And the Mishnah says as follows. Rabbi Yanai, okay, said as follows. It is not on our power to explain either the tranquility of the wicked or the suffering of the righteous. This is the famous Mishnah, friends, the Mishnah that says, that the righteous, why do the righteous suffer? Why do the wicked seem to prosper? This is the Mishnah. And what's the statement by Rabbi Yonai? Forget it. You're not going to be able to explain it. The analogy that I once heard, maybe we'll continue with this tomorrow because time's ticking. So remind me to pick up tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, so it's 6:45. If you can't get up at 6:45, I'm not coming around to wake you up, but you can pick up on afterwards. You can pick it up on the Facebook or YouTube videos. Okay, so let's do quickly Psalm 23 and finish off. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even as I walk in the valley of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. Memorial prayer. Adon Olam V'Imzacho Es Nishmos Lebas Vayvo Rav Yaakov ben David Aryeh ben Yaman Akiva ben Shlomo Tzipora Feigel Lebas Baruch Bo Katzmer Shalom ben Elili ben Lebas Vayvo Rupa Shoshana Bas Yaakov Shmuel Kela ben Lebas Henoch Yem Yochia ben Moshe Eliezer Sarmaka Bas ben Yom Shalom Yechia ben Yeshua Levi Avram Mordechai ben Moshe Katna Aryeh ben Shimon, as well as the Yotzais, Rachabas Chanan, David Zerb, Pinchas ben Avram Blackstein, David ben Menachem Mendel, Halevi Westbrook, Kaddish ben Yehuda Abrahams, Tom Malkadina Bas, Tovia Nathanson, Bruno Bastov, Ruben Clemens, Shalach Lila Mambagan, Ada Taimanu Chasam, Lachim Belarachamim, Yasirin, Setakana Pomino Lambim, Vietrovas Haim Nishmasam Adonai, Nachlasam, Yanach Mishamash Kavam, Benamar, Amen. For Shalem, pray lastly. Misha Berach Avasein Rabbi Mitzvah Yaakov Moshe and David Shlomo Yivarech Reb Pesachayim Babu Shana Mispalim Babu Ram Besmosai Kadosh Baruch Hu Yimlei Rach Melei Melachman Fosam Mishlachlim Fushlim Nishman Lachol Ben Besach Shachri Zara Fos and Nefesh Pesachnu Hashem Max Makarif and Amar Amen. Have a great day, everyone. Keep safe, keep well. Please, God, we'll see you tomorrow.